Welcome to Cougan's Corner. Good to see you. I'm going to do a review of a computer that I just purchased. My old laptop finally bit the dust. It was an Asus, great computer, but it just wouldn't come on and something happened to the motherboard. It lasted for 11 years, so I really can't complain. But as I was looking around trying to find something that was comparable that would be able to do all the things that I needed to do, such as the video editing and higher graphic end work and things like that, I ran across a brick wall on several things because there were some that were way up there in price that I'd like to have, but they're way out of my price range. And then I found what I believe to be the best deal that I could find that had the kind of power that I needed. And so what I went with is, I actually went with the Dell, never had a Dell. It's Alienware. Specifically, it's called an Alienware m17 R3. It has a 6-cell battery and it has a AMD Radeon RX 5500M 4GB GDD R6, and it has several other features that I can talk about later. But for the most part, for the first part of this, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. You can see it comes in this nice box. It has the Alienware logo and everything on it, and the same thing. You can see that up here better with this camera right here. And then on the back side, it also has that. So now I'm going to open this for the first time, which, by the way, I already figured out. The only thing holding this thing together is no tape or anything like that. It's just the handle poking through the top. And so you open that. Probably didn't open it up exactly right. Flip this around. All right. Okay, this is what it looks like on the top, and this is what it looks like on the back. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see from that angle, but here's the ports. They're on the back, but you probably can't see that. I'll just insert a picture of what that looks like right there so you can see the ports better. And it's a little bit lighter than my other one, but it's about the same weight as the one I had. And this also has, of course, power brick. Pretty big. Nothing else extra on it. Big round port to charge. See that? And then there's a little thing from Alienware talking about how that since 1996, we set out to build the most innovative and high performance computers and blah, 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 blah. There's something else here. Okay, it's just a little instructional manual. Okay, telling you the ports, the things that it has, and safety information. Who needs that? And I think that's just about it. It's all in that box. I'm going to open this up and look at it. In case you're wondering, I don't know why this is a big test, but try to be able to open the computer with one hand. You can't do that with this one, it raises up. But I do like the keys. They do feel a little bit cheap, maybe, kind of plasticky, but it's really solid, even though the keys themselves kind of feel kind of plastic. And it also has a really nice screen. I'll show you so you can see what I'm seeing. You can see the nice screen of the camera. I've never actually used one of these computers where the mouse pad is off to the side, of the trackpad is off to the side a little bit because of the number key over here, but it feels just fine. And I'll give you a closer up view with a different camera. This might be a little bit shaky because for some reason my gimbal's not working. I'll do this by hand. And you can see the mouse pad here, see the vents, and then you can see the screen looks nice, and the camera up top. Okay, that's the nickel tour of this new laptop. I'm going to set it up and download all the software that I need, do some benchmarks and things like that, and use it for several days. And I'll give you my opinion. I'm hoping it works great because I plan on this being my new replacement. I hope it lasts 11 years. It probably won't, but anyway, I'm hoping to get it maybe at least half that amount of time. And I'm very thankful to be able to have it. So I'll see you in the next part of this video. All right, I'm back. I've been able to use this laptop for several days. I want to do more tests on it and run it over time. I'll give another update later down the line. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly what I said earlier. And what I mean by that is I recorded a whole video going through this whole laptop of the things I'm about to say again. But one of my cameras, for whatever reason, wasn't recording. I don't know if I accidentally turned it off or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to reshoot this. So if it kind of sounds like it's not exactly right, that's the reason why, because I'm having to reshoot it. But sometimes that's just what you have to do. So I really like how this laptop has been performing so far. I did do some benchmark testing. I'm not going to waste your time with that because I just used a free benchmark. I don't have any of the paid ones, but I have looked online and looked at several videos on this laptop, and there's one that has just nothing but all kinds of benchmarks, and it always performs very well on that. This is a very powerful machine. Now the way I have mine equipped, yeah, they would consider it, I guess, kind of in the middle because there's different things you can put on here, different screens and different things like that. And mine, if at retail, was about $1,900. I got a much bigger discount on that. But anyway, it is. I really like that it has an anti-glare screen. It's kind of a matte finish. You know, my Surface Pro 6, it kind of has a reflection. And so whenever I have it sit in my lap, if a lamp is in the background or whatever, I mean, it kind of, you know, you see that reflection. But you don't have that with this screen. And so I like that. Now this doesn't have a great deal of brightness. It only goes up to about 400 nits, and it works great for inside, but if you were outside in the sunlight, yeah, I think you're going to struggle a little bit with that. I will tell you that it has really bad battery life. I mean, it's just got a lot of power that it's going to have to use, and so the battery life is not going to be like this, like my Surface Pro will last, you know, 7-8 hours or whatever. This thing will last about an hour and a half according to the little bar down there. So that's not long at all. So if you're wanting to buy this for being able to use it without having to have it plugged up for very long, this is not the laptop for you. And one thing I really like about this computer is it has some of the loudest speakers I've ever heard on a computer. I've been around a lot of different laptops and things like that. In fact, I would say that it's louder and sounds better than an iPad Pro. And an iPad Pro is really good with its sound. Now, you won't be able to tell much. I'm not going to play a song. I'm just going to play one of my videos or part of one of my videos where I'm actually talking about an iPad. So you can kind of hear the sound over the speakers. So you can see how loud it is. Now, it's only going to be able to tell you so much, but here goes. Because I'm waiting to get the new keyboard. It comes out in May for it. So I didn't want to get the portfolio that they offer. I don't want to pay $80 for that whenever I'm not going to even use it. So let's begin. So I don't know what you can tell from that, but if you're listening to music or to a movie, oh man, it sounds really good. Especially if you have it on a hard surface like this, because the sound kind of projects down and it comes out. And it does have a little bit of bass. I mean, it doesn't have like, you know, it's where it's going to, you're just going to feel it. But although if you have it sitting on your lap, you can kind of feel that, you can feel the sound into your legs a little bit, but at least it does have a little bit of bass. But like I said, this is by far the greatest sounding speakers I've heard on a laptop. Now I'm sure there are some others that might compete with it that I'm not aware of, but I can really appreciate the sound on that. Now if you look at this again, you can see that it has these LEDs. Those don't really add to its function or anything. It's just for looks. Not anything I really have to have. And you can turn these all off, by the way. You don't even have to have them on. You can go to the program And you can change the colors and the way they do things. Like I changed my little alien to green because an alien's supposed to be green, isn't it? And then I changed the color down here to blue. I also did the same thing for my keyboard. But you can change the keyboard left, right, and middle and all these different things. And you can make it pulsing. You can make it going through all the different colors or whatever. And the power button is also an alien's head, and you can change the color of it, and it does different things depending on whether you are charging or whether it's all the way charged and things like that. But again, that's just aesthetics. It's just everything that you're looking for as far as kind of looking cool. Because I mean, who's going to see this out here? You're not going to see it, but I guess if you're out somewhere, people could see that you've got this Alienware, you know, product. I guess it's more of a status thing than anything. Now, I'm not much of a gamer. I mean, I used to be in the past. I just simply don't have time to play games anymore that much. But I did download a free game. I'm not going to tell you which one, but it is a higher end game. It's not one of the newest ones, but it's not that old. And it is pretty graphic intense. And I downloaded it for just a little bit and played it for a few minutes. It worked butter smooth. And I looked up on other reviews, people that were playing games and different ones. And their laptops work great for them too, with the same model and everything. And I love the 17-inch screen. And let's see what else. Also, I just want to go ahead and show you what the ports do and how many there are, and talk about that just a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm going to do my best to hold this steady. For some reason, again, my gimbal's not working. I'm going to have to find out what's wrong with it. But as you can see, there is a headphone jack here. And you have a USB port here. This is a RJ45 jack, and this is on the left-hand side. And you can kind of see the keyboard, and you can kind of see the design. And you can see that little alien head there. And then on the back side, oh, you also have that little locking insert there where you can help protect your computer. I've never used that, so I don't know much about it. And you can see all the lights back here on this back part. And, you know, I kind of like this, but also it's a little bit difficult sometimes if you got your computer up against something to plug in things into these slots. But you can see the power connector here. It also has, that's really bad, sorry. This power connector right here has the light on it, and it stays lit even after you unplug it for some reason. Now at first I have to say I really didn't know what this port was right here, but this is advanced graphic port. You can actually plug in an additional box with external graphic card on it if you want to be able to boost the ability of the laptop to give it even more power than what's already in it. And you can use that to plug into a box that you buy separately, and you can hook it up to external monitors as well that way. And then here you have your Thunderbolt port, and also your Type-C, and then you have a display port, and then you have your HDMI. Those are all right there. And then you come around over here to the other side, and we have two more USB ports, and we have one little miniature SD card port. I wish that would have been a full-size one, but it is not. I just wanted to show you what this looks like with the camera that's built onto this laptop, and also so you can hear the sound quality coming from its speakers. There shows to have two speakers on each side, and this is in the best place you could probably take this footage. It's in my studio where I have good sound dampening effects, so there's not echo going on. Plus the lighting is really good, and so this will give you an idea of the quality of this camera. Can't say that it really looks any better than my Surface Pro, and it seems like a lot of these faster computers or laptops that they're not really paying that much attention to the video quality, but some of them are getting into it. Another thing that you can find helpful is getting some dongles and things that plug into the Type-C connector, the Thunderbolt. I got this one actually originally for my iPad, which I use a little bit, but it gives you access to a full SD card reader, and also has the mini, and it has 3 USB ports, and it also has an HDMI out as well. And so you can plug that in, and that'll give you fast access to different things that you need. Most of the memory cards I use are the bigger ones, so I wish it had the bigger one, but it doesn't. But this allows me to get around it. The other thing I got is my old laptop, when it fried, it had, I used a 1 terabyte SSD hard drive like this. Of course, these won't, you can't use that in these. Just use the little small ones, the newer ones that are kind of look like a card, like a memory stick. But anyway, I got this for about 10 bucks or 11 bucks. This little Type C to SATA. So that way you can hook it in your Thunderbolt, and man, you can have your fast external hard drive to be able to use, and you'll be able to do all kinds of things like that. In fact, it's supposed to be fast enough. I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but it's supposed to be able to be fast enough to edit your video footage from. And so, you know, that'd be pretty handy, and it also allow you to be able to kind of keep your amount of files and stuff and storage off your hard drive to keep it free up on this internal one, so that it'll keep on going. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I had a few little glitchy things that happened when I first was installing the software on this. Whenever it was doing the hello window, or I mean, Cortana was saying, I'm setting this up or whatever, and it's doing the setup procedure, it was just spinning and spinning and spinning. I've never actually had that happen before. So eventually, I gave it a long time and it didn't go through. So I actually had to turn it off and then back on. And then whenever I did that, it was fine. It was able to go ahead and get past that screen and was able to set up. One other little glitch I had is I was just watching YouTube, you know, testing things out as I was setting it up. And all of a sudden the screen went blank. And I don't know why it went blank. I could hear the sound and everything, but I couldn't get the screen to come back. And as far as I know, I didn't hit any buttons or something. There may be some sort of special function that I missed on the keyboard or something, but I was able to hit the power button to put it to sleep and then to hit it and bring it back awake. And then the screen was back on. Hopefully that doesn't happen, or maybe I just, like I said, maybe I hit a wrong button or something, but those are the only glitches I had. Now, I will come back later and give you an update on this, but I will say that I'm very pleased with this laptop so far. It works great. I've watched a movie on it to see how that looked. It does get a little warm whenever you have it in your lap, but not too bad. Mainly it gets hot in this area right up in here. And I'm touching it right now and it's pretty warm. It's not super hot. My old laptop actually was one that ran pretty cool, and it never even really got that warm. But anyway, I can understand that with this because it's got a lot of power going on. Also, the fan noise, as it's just sitting here, you can see it's pretty quiet, or you can hear that it's pretty quiet. And then if you start playing an intense game or start having to do a lot of getting the CPU going, it will speed up the fan and it will get louder so that it can be able to keep itself cool as it's having to do that power. So overall, like I said, I would definitely recommend this particular laptop, and it's within a good price range, I think, even though it's still expensive. But whenever you're doing lots of video editing or gaming, if that's what you're wanting to use it for, it's not what I'm using it for, or you're doing high-end graphics and things like that, you know, this is going to get the job done. And so I'm very happy with this. Now, one thing I do want to mention, because you're not just buying the laptop, you're also buying into the customer service. It's the first time I bought something from Dell. I'm going to kind of put this in a Reader's Digest version, if you will. I kind of went on a little too long the last time when I recorded this about their service. I will just say this: overall, their customer service was decent, but I had to ask them several questions. Well, actually, I just asked them 2 questions. One question was why it was taking so long for them to ship it. When I ordered it, it said it was going to take 30 days for it to get here. 30 days. Like, why? Why is it taking that long? Me being me, you know, I asked them, emailed them, I said, are you sending this computer on the back of a turtle? You know, I just didn't understand why it was taking so long. And so I was looking for an explanation. If they gave me a good explanation, I could understand it. Well, it's coming from overseas, and so they have to ship it. And, you know, COVID-19 is causing delays and things like that. I could understand all these things, but they didn't tell me that. They just kind of ignored that part of the question to tell me why. But the person that helped me was very helpful and said that, well, I'll tell you what, I'll email the manufacturer. I'll tell them that they need to expedite this, so maybe you can get it quicker. No guarantees. And I thought, well, you know, that's a pretty good thing to tell someone. You know, you can tell them that whether you're going to do it or not. It might make them feel better. I mean, it's just good customer support language, PR language, if you will. And so I didn't think anything was going to come of it. Well, the next day I got a notice that they had shipped it. And I was like, wow, okay, that did make a difference. And it said it was coming out of Chicago. and FedEx had the label, they generated the label, but I think someone didn't go ahead and ship it on that Friday. I think they was probably toward the end of the day. My guess is, I don't know. I'm thinking, oh man, I got this thing, we'll just ship it out later. I want to go home. Because the FedEx showed it to be coming on Sunday, and it didn't come that Sunday. And they never received it. And then I called and emailed again and trying to find out what was going on. They said, oh, we'll look into it. But then FedEx received it, and they updated their information, and then I got it on that Wednesday. So it was supposed to come on the 5th, July 5th, and so I ended up getting it on the 8th. But originally I was supposed to get it on the 20th. So I was very happy about that. However, I was also asking them a question about tax exemption. They didn't take my taxes off like they were supposed to, because I have the ability to do that with the organization that this is for. Well, I had to end up emailing them 4 times. They kept ignoring my question about it. They wouldn't answer it. But finally today, because if they hadn't emailed me today, I was really going to rake them over the coals, if you will. I was really going to talk about how bad it was, but they came through today, so I can say this about them, but it took me 4 times, I want to emphasize that, emailing them, and it's still not resolved yet, but they did. It's getting closer. I actually got a response this time, and they took my phone number, and they're supposed to call me at some point, and they're supposed to get this thing resolved. So if we get it resolved, then that's great. I mean, I shouldn't have had to, do it 4 different times, email them 4 different times to get a response. And I don't understand the slowness. They never did explain why it was going to take so long. Obviously, they're able to send it out because they got it to me quicker. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I know that Dell has a really good setup of, if you have trouble with your computer, you can call in and they'll walk you through it and help you. And if you need replacement of anything, I've already heard good things about that. They'll give you a replacement right away, no problem. And so I'm happy about that. But like I said, this initial experience with the sales side of things and order is a little bit shaky. But anyway, I hope this information, you'll find it helpful. And if you're deciding to make a purchase, again, I think you will be very happy with this laptop.